My name is Geary Gubbins. I'm from Southampton, New York. Grew up in Southampton my entire life. My father was a teacher in the school district, and running has been within my family my entire life. Went to Duke University, came back after I graduated, and took over my family business. Started off as running only. I think mom only wanted to sell the running shoes because that's what she knew, although she was a great athlete and did everything else, but the running shoes were never enough. So whether it be baseball product for the youth programs out here, or soccer cleats, or pretty much anything that a family needs. If you're raising kids in the Hamptons, you come to Gubbins for your sporting goods needs. When the pandemic first hit, this was before any of the closures ordered by the governor. We were actually very busy because this was early March and everyone was leaving the city and they were all out here. And so we had this very quick uptick in business that we were not expecting. And everybody was buying actually one item, weights, dumbbells and weights. About March 20th, March 25th, I believe that's when the orders came down from Governor Cuomo, although it was somewhat confusing in the sense that bike stores were considered essential, sporting goods were not. So we had to work with the village to figure out what we were allowed to do, what we weren't. With the pandemic, the phone never stopped ringing. People were always calling Gubbins looking for items. The question was, how do we get these items to the customer safely? So what we did mainly, phone orders and leave out on the curb for pickup. East Hampton Village was a little different than Southampton Village. East Hampton, they wanted you to only deliver the product, no pickups within the village. Southampton Village, we were doing curbside pickup only. When we were allowed to reopen, we had customers coming in, everybody was masked up. We tried to hand sanitizer, provide the safest possible environment we could, keep all the doors open, try to just keep everybody safe and spread out. But there was my first memory when I reopened was parents were coming in with their kids and they said, he has not been fit for shoes in 3 months. He needs some shoes. It's very hard to buy shoes online, especially for your kids. You don't know exactly what size they're going to be, how much they grew. Right away, you could see people were excited to get back into the store and see us and see the Gubbins family and get helped out for the items they need for their kids. I, being younger, felt a little more comfortable, but my father, 70 years old, basically I made it a point he was not to, come into the stores. He stayed away for a good while, so I kept my distance from my loved ones who could potentially be vulnerable. The masks were basically our lifeline of, okay, this is how we're gonna try to continue to do business, but in a safe way. I worked every day. I kept the smallest staff possible, and I did it all myself so that I could limit, the amount of people in this store. I took it to a whole nother level that I never thought I could really do in terms of how much I personally work. It was, not to say I want to do it again, but when push comes to shove, you go to work, and that's what a small business is. It was so busy once we reopened. Even if you brought in staff, you wouldn't be able to train them because we were so overwhelmed trying to catch up for the fact that we had no inventory, so orders needed to be placed, things needed to be processed. I really relied on, my parents. My dad eventually did start, coming back to the Southampton store working. My mom worked throughout. We have one manager, key manager, Gustavo Morstita. He, went back from both stores, covered to help out as much as he could. And then we had 2 high schoolers who worked and really helped me get through it. And we did. And then as the year progressed, that's when we started adding staff and trying to find a more balanced structure. And I think we've kind of figured it out this summer. Our customers are very well educated and understood the gravity and the seriousness of the pandemic, and we tried to accommodate the customer however they saw fit for their own personal safety. So if they wanted to try shoes on the sidewalk, please be my guest. If you want me to come outside, I'll fit the kids in the parking lot. Glad to do it. Nobody's requests were ever surprising by me, because I think, especially as with a family business, family is the most important thing, and however you want to protect your family is fine by me. And if you have a request that might seem a little silly, you want to try the shoes on in the parking lot, let's do it. Work. If I could think of this pandemic in a year, it was work. Just seeing this community and growing up out here, the things that I love to do throughout the year, watching new families get to experience, whether it be ice skating on a pond, going down a hill in the snow on a wintry Wednesday. I think a lot of families fell in love with this place outside of just the summer, and it was nice to see that.